Hey guys, Cindy Lou. It's been a long time. I look a bit tired. Have not been feeling well these past few days, maybe a week now or 2 weeks. My body's been kind of acting out of whack lately. I did get my period this month, but my weight gain has changed drastically. Um, my body just doesn't feel right. Something feels off. And I'm going to talk about it today. And I'm going to talk about my birthing story because my last video that I did with you guys was really rushed. I mean, Clay was just born, and the moment he started crying, I was just like, okay, I got to put him to sleep. I got to feed him. I got to do this. And I just cut the video super fast. So I'm going to talk about that really quick. So let's start all the way to the birthing story. So the video that I uploaded when I was telling you, I think I leaked, I think my water broke. My water did break. um, but just for expecting mothers, especially if it's your first child, and if you ever experience your water breaking, just know that it doesn't always mean it's like like an explosion of water or like you're completely soaked. Yeah, it was not like that for me actually. I felt like I peed just a little bit. Like I felt like I just peed myself. And I was like, okay, this is a bit weird. I didn't feel like I had to pee, so I went to the restroom. I actually peed, and then I had cleaned myself up. I put a new pair of clothes, and then I started just walking around, and then boom, I leaked again. Just very little. I just kept leaking and leaking, and I was like, I don't know what this is. I never had this feeling before because I'm sorry, Clemmy, I was induced, so I never got to actually feel my body actually going into labor. I was at most 4 centimeters dilated with Clemmy, and that was when I got the epidural. So I barely started to feel contractions, but I have never felt the actual severity of contractions really with Clemmy. But with Clay, like I said, I had that, and then I started to feel a lot of tensing in my back to my feet. I just constant leaking. And I noticed too, I Googled it because I was like, you know what? I don't want to just go to the hospital. Yes, baby. It reminds me of playing when she's little. My old videos. Yes, baby. So, um, I'm not crazy. I'm talking to the camera. um, yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, I didn't want to drive all the way over there and be sent back home. So another way you can find out if you're unsure, like I said, if you just were like me, a little trickle of water, and you're like, I don't think that's my water breaking. The second thing I noticed was I had a clump of discharge that was a bit pink, not crazy chunk, but a small chunk of discharge that was pinkish. I'm like, maybe that's my mucus plug coming out. I still wasn't sure. And then I looked up on Google that said that if you wipe or the discharge that you're having is smelling like chlorine, which it actually does, which is really weird. That's another sign. So not to be gross, I had to check. Like again, I just wasn't sure what was going on with my body. Um, it was really late. It was like maybe 11, almost midnight that day, and I was like, well, I need to know if I'm gonna go or not because I need to call my mom to come take care of Clem. And it was just I wasn't sure. So I smelled it. I was like, oh yeah, it definitely smells like chlorine. And then I waited just a little bit longer. I started to little by little feel a little bit of contractions. Or maybe it's just Braxton Hicks. Maybe it's nothing. And I noticed my discharge was starting to turn a little brown, and I was like, ooh, that does not look good. So again, I read about it, and it said usually if you get brown discharge, especially if you're going into labor, it could mean that your baby's having its first poop, which can be very dangerous for mom and baby, because you don't want your baby to be breathing in all that bacteria, and especially you don't want all that, you know, bowel movement inside your body to cause infection. So that's it. Like, you know what? Let's just go. I just want to be sure. My gut is telling me that we should just go. I wasn't feeling crazy contractions. It wasn't like 10 minutes apart, like enough to time. And it was just like on and off within hours. So I was like, no, probably not a big deal. But my gut was telling me, you know what, you gotta go. So we left. Um, we get to the hospital. Oh my god. It was the worst. I mean, we get there and the first thing they do, they check to see how much you're dilated, they look for your cervix, all that stuff. The doctor shoved his whole hand in there and it hurt really bad. It hurts. I'm gonna be honest, it hurts. It's very uncomfortable. And he was like, I can't find your cervix. So he was like looking for like a good 2 to 3 minutes with his hand in there. I'm like, oh, like clenching the hospital bed and clenching my fiance's hand. I'm like, oh, it hurts. Like I was making sounds of pain because it was painful. And then he called in another doctor, and then she came in and put her hand in there. And she was like, I was just looking for it. Oh, there it is. And then she was like, oh, yeah, you're 4 centimeters dilated. We're going to go ahead and keep you. You're going to stay here for the night. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was happy about it, but that was already painful. So I was getting nervous. I never had that issue with Clem. Again, I never experienced that at all. So yeah, we get put into the room. I start to get contractions. This time I actually made it to 6 centimeters. I started to feel the tensing. I started to be like, ooh, I don't know. Maybe I wanted to hold out as long as I could. And I kept thinking about it. I'm like, well, no, if I cannot barely stay still now, when I do want the epidural, it's going to be impossible for me to stay still. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get the epidural. The epidural was painful. It was more painful than I would say when I got it with Clem. Um, the first thing the doctor told me, or the lady or the nurse who did it for me, the first thing she said, so I had my back, I was already crunched over, ready for them to insert the epidural, the needle. And the first thing she said is, they change these things almost every year. There's always something new about this. And I was like, so have you not trained with this before? Like this is very serious. If you like mess up, you can paralyze me, or you can just like inject in the wrong spot, or what if you put it in the wrong place and then I feel everything during labor, like I was just freaking out when she told me that. So yeah, so she puts it, I go back to laying down, and of course they put the catheter in. Everything was good, I was calm, and then out of nowhere, like it felt I was progressing pretty fast. And they gave me like this big yoga ball looking thing. It was like a weird shape. And they had me put it between my legs, and that was the worst part, honestly. Again, I never did that with Clem, which is so weird. But they had me put the ball, and then I would have like every few minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, I would switch sides, and then I have to do the other side, which was difficult because you're absolutely numb from hip to your toes, and well, your belly too, because I didn't feel any contractions. But yeah, so my fiance had to literally help me. I felt like I was lifting just complete, obviously dead weight, and just like, like trying to move myself. And out of nowhere, I only did it like maybe 4 times, so 2 and 2, and I had this huge urge to push. Like they had checked me that, you're really close. We're almost there. We're almost there. And I was like, oh, okay. I was on my side, and then I got this weird pressure. I've never felt that before, not even with Clem. And I told my fiance, like, babe, go get the nurse. I feel like I have to push. I need to push. I need to push. And he was like, oh, okay. So he quickly runs to go get the nurse back. And then she was like, he told me, don't push. He said, don't push. They're coming. So last minute, they're bringing in all the equipment really quick. They're just telling me to hold it. I'm like, like I just felt immense pressure. And then the doctor that I had actually was not in town, very upset about, because my whole pregnancy, obviously he's been the one I trusted to deliver my baby, and then he ended up not being there. So like 2 minutes, I had to choose a doctor, and then he delivered Clay. So it took a few tries, and yeah, I didn't get too much damage down there like I did with Clem. Clem tore me from the top part and the bottom part. And Clay, I did get stitches, but they were more inside. I didn't get any stitches outside. which is really crazy because he was 8 pounds 1 ounce. Clem was 7 pounds 5 ounces. So there's a huge difference there, a whole pound more, and he didn't do any damage. But I guess because my body naturally got myself ready to have him, then with Clem, I was forcefully induced. So I never felt like her drop down. I had to push her down. So I was already ready, like had my legs up, and they would tell me, okay, count to 10. So I'd push, I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, take a break. And then I did that a few times till Clem was actually in position barely to come out. So I didn't feel the drop like Clay and then feeling the pressure of him naturally squeezing himself out. So it was a definite different experience. When Clay was born, he actually didn't cry at the beginning, which made me very scared because he was a little purple, a little purplish, and he didn't make any sound. And I was just like, he's not crying. Why isn't he crying? And it took him maybe like 3 minutes, but that was like the longest 3 minutes ever until finally we heard him cry. And he just had his little eyes open, and um, breastfeeding actually wasn't as hard as it was the first time with Clem. It did hurt at the beginning, but not as extreme pain than with Clem. With Clem, I had to just not, I stopped breastfeeding her and I bottle fed her, but then that was just too much stress and a struggle to prepare a bottle. And then if I made it too hot, she would cry. I'm like, hold on, I'm sorry, I made it too hot. You have to wait. And she would just scream, waiting, wanting her bottle instead of me just latching her, you know. So I went back to breastfeeding her when she was little. But yeah, with Clay, he latched really well right away. And my fiance was home with me for about a week before he left out of town for work, which was really hard. I really wish he would have been there longer, but at least he was there for the birth, and he was at least there a week with me. He helped me so much. He would stay up to take care of the baby. We would take turns, but he would feed me as well because I was breastfeeding. I was constantly hungry. So he would make me something to eat. It was just the best week. I did not want him to leave because he was spoiling me as well. But yeah, that was my birthing story. Clem has been the best big sister. They're so close to each other. They have such a great bond. And lastly, my scare this morning. I did get on Nexplanon. I do have I don't think you can see this. It's like a barely a little thing. Can't even see it. That little dot. That's my Nexplanon implant where they inserted it. The first year was HELL. It was great that I didn't bleed for a whole year, but you forcefully not allowing your body to naturally release the hormones you're supposed to really took a toll on my body. I chose this birth control because I wanted to help me actually gain weight because I struggle to gain weight. I have a very fast metabolism, so the moment I eat, like the weight just doesn't stay. I can eat as much as I want and I just remain the same weight, or I lose even more weight, which is crazy. But it, I know people would think that why would you do that? You know, that's like the best thing. It's like, yes, to some, I guess in your situation, but in my situation, I am I'm super tall. I'm 5'8", and I was the most weighing about 110, 115. That's very thin for someone very tall. And I just looked very unhealthy. I looked very sick. I looked very ill. You can see a lot of the textures of like my bones and stuff. So it just didn't look good. I didn't feel very confident in myself. I didn't feel happy with myself. And on top of that, I was breastfeeding. So I was losing more weight, you know. It took a lot of my nutrition and things like that. So I just looked really bad for a while. Once I finally stopped breastfeeding, I started to, you know, look a little bit better, but I still was not gaining any weight. So that was one of the main things the doctor told me. A lot of people decide to get rid of this birth control or change because they gained so much weight so fast. And I was like, that's exactly what I want. And I took it the first month I got it. I just kept vomiting, severe headaches. Again, I didn't bleed, but every week I got a very bad, severe migraine that I always had to vomit in order to feel better. And it was like every other day I would feel like that, and it sucked to the point where I wanted to take it out because I'm like, I don't think I could deal with this for 3 years. There's no way I could deal with this. So I waited, like my body's just adjusting, and it started to slow down. But my first year was kind of like that most of the time, but I didn't bleed all year. As soon as I started my second year, I started to bleed again, and it was a little bit irregular for a while, but I actually felt a little bit better. I was actually bleeding, so um, or releasing my flow, my hormones, so that way my body was naturally doing what it's supposed to do, and my body felt much better. I wasn't getting so sick as much. Every now and then I did get a headache. I would have to throw up, which I would never do before I got birth control. I never had that experience or that severe migraines. Tylenol wasn't working for me anymore. Motrin wasn't working for me. Excedrin wasn't working for me. A lot of stuff that normally would help was not working. So I had to get like a higher dose, actual prescription medication to help me get through my migraines. Um, so I'm at 2.5 years now. I do have to get this removed in March next year. And yeah, it's starting to like I got my period this month, but I just within 2 week time frame, I gained a lot of weight out of nowhere. I've been feeling a little nauseous. My chest has been hurting, very sensitive, and I've been having to use the restroom a lot, peeing a lot, and what else? What else? Oh, cravings. I've been super hungry. I've been eating a lot lately, and it sounds like when I realized I was pregnant with Clay. When looking back, it almost sounds like the same thing. So I kind of freaked out, and I was like, well, maybe I can test already because I'm getting some pretty strong symptoms right now. So maybe it's a good time to test. So I tested this morning. It's really rare to get pregnant while on birth control, especially next one on, but it can happen. And knowing my luck, like maybe I'm one of those people that I'm one of those rare cases. But no, it was negative. I'm like, okay, thank God. But right now my body is out of whack. Oh no. One second. Clay has to use the potty. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. Clay's being potty trained right now, so I had to take him to the potty. Sorry. Um, but yeah. Uh, Soon, I don't know if I'm gonna continue next one on. I'm kind of scared that I'm pretty sure throughout the years it slowly isn't as strong anymore. The whatever's in this thing. So I am afraid that if I get a brand new one, I'm gonna go back to vomiting, and it's just gonna be too strong of a whatever medication it is that I'm gonna be struggling again. So I don't know. I might just stick to getting the shot. I would do the pills, but I'm very forgetful. I'm gonna have like that short term thing. So I am more likely to forget, and I'm not gonna risk I'm not gonna risk it, you guys. I'm done having kids. I'm very happy with the two that I have. They're they're perfect. They're so cute, and but yeah, we are in our house now. We moved out last year in July. We moved here last year in July. But yeah, it's been great. Fortunately, my fiance's back to working out of town. He did stay home for a little bit, but he's back at it at work. But at least we're in our house. We're in an apartment. It's huge. The house is a good size for our family. We have our own space. It's really great to be here. A lot of stress has been off my shoulders. I think maybe that's why too, that things are going so great right now that I don't feel stressed, and then maybe my body's just like relaxed, and it's just running how it should go. Like I said, when I've been stressed so much, I sometimes would be so busy doing stuff that I would forget to eat or even drink water. And I used to hate water. I really hated it, but now I at least try to drink a bottle a day because I wouldn't drink any water ever. For years, never drank water. If I tried to drink it, I would gag. It would gross me out. But I at least try to drink a bottle of water a day. And little by little, I'm kind of moving up where I drink 2 bottle waters a day. Waters a day. And because my body is telling me I need water. So naturally, I'll just grab another water. And I am getting more sleep. I know I look a little tired, but I am feeling better. I feel like I look better. Can't really see my my body. Sorry to put you down here. But I feel like I am kind of like evening out. I don't look so thin. Like I just looked really bad, but I can say that I'm happy with how I look. I have not said that in a very long time or ever. I've always been super skinny, and yeah, I feel good, guys. This is 2.5 years later, but if I ever make updates or new videos, it's just gonna be about my current life. No more pregnancy, none of that. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys liked today's video. So nice to see you guys again. And hopefully you guys still watch my videos. If you're going through pregnancy right now, I hope they still help you guys. Don't be scared to ask me questions or comment on my old videos. I'll still answer you no matter what. But I missed you guys. Love you guys. Bye.